Well, friends, we made it. This was the last week of most of our ministry structures. This was our last NAV night. We just met with our student leaders on Sunday just to kind of set things up and reflect on this past year. And we made it. I believe it was about a year ago that I was talking, just about at this very spot about leading and caring through COVID-19. And a lot of the things that I said then, it turned out to be quite true in terms of looking at this as a marathon. I would almost say it's an ultra marathon. And also just the reality of my worry about the mental health of these students. It's been a trying time, but I'm hoping and expecting that this is building resilience in this next generation of students. And this past school year, when I look back on it, there were absolutely challenges, absolutely things that were hard for the students and hard for the staff as well. But I have to say that I'm very proud with where we have gone and where we are going. Some of the big things that are a highlight for me that I think about is one of the big pivots that we needed to focus in on is to make sure that people were walking with God through this time. And abiding, really like slowing down for Loving Union, has been always a major passion of mine, but we've seen that grow actually quite tremendously within our students. I think we only got a few students to be able to kind of slow down and engage in God's Word and meet with God. But now we have at least 14 students that we've been able to track and be able to say, with confidence, we can say that they're slowing down at least 4 times a week to engage with God, practicing Sabbath rhythms, things like that. And so that has been a huge accomplishment. Predominantly all of our ministry has been having to go through Zoom, barring an emergency or an issue where we've had to engage with a student. And what he's really been asking us to be to engage on Zoom. And by doing so, our typical outreach, our typical engagement has been challenging. But even despite that, we saw 2 people come to faith this past school year, which is, would we have wanted to see more? Yes, but we were faithful in this season and thankful for what God got to do in that. And then the final thing that really just comes to mind is that we are a ministry honed on the belief that discipleship is something that Christ has entrusted with all of those who identify as Christians. And this past year we got to say that we've had 30 discipleships, about 30 discipleship relationships happen within our community, and that's students discipling students, and we are excited to see what the next chapter is. And so when we look forward to the next year, our culture, we recognize that what we're stepping into is a new culture, is a culture that we as a staff team and as student leaders get to define. And we focused on 4 things that we really want to see the culture embody moving forward. And so the first is going back to this abiding idea, is that we want to expand that. We want to not just abide and say, hey, we have 14 students abiding right now. We want to see our whole community abide, and not just to see it as an individualistic endeavor, but a whole community. So we're excited to see our community walk with God together. We have some really cool ideas of what that might look like in the fall. The second thing is actually what we're going to be pressing into the most. It's going to be our theme next year, is that we want to know and live out the scriptures. We want to help equip our students, not just to look at the scriptures as this handbook or just to look at a verse, but we want them to see, the scriptures as this unified story, speaking over generations that point to Jesus as the Messiah, that points to God as one who in love sacrificed himself so that we can have life with him. Another thing is that we want to help our students, in college, it's a time of growth, it's a time of development, but we want to hone that growth and development to recognize that that is not merely for themselves, but actually it's for others. We want our students to grow for the sake of others, and to say that what I get to obtain, I get to give to the world and to others. And then finally, we want to embody that idea of discipleship, that our students would take ownership of this incredible commission God has given us. So that's what we have to look forward to in the fall. And what I would say in terms of this summer is really going to be a time, I think, for the staff really to do a few things. One is to rest. We really haven't stopped to breathe since I want to say February of last year, of 2020. And so we really hope that this summer will be a time to rest and recuperate and engage and process with God, because this has been incredibly challenging. I mean, just honestly, these last 48 hours, I've been getting these visual migraines, which is really even affecting my eyes. They're hurting, and I know that that's usually a good indicator that I've been holding on to a lot of stress. And so we're looking forward to using the summer as a source of rest. It's going to be a time to re-engage with you guys. I'd really love to reconnect with you guys, to give you guys more personal stories, to know how things are going for you guys, how I can be supporting you guys. And then we have also other leadership things as well. My associate director, myself, we're part of the regional leadership team, and we will be joining other leaders in July to connect. But I want to say about a week and a half ago, I also got a unexpected phone call from one of my colleagues, and one of the key things that we like to invite our students into is international trips. And we've been eyeing to see how do we expand as a region some of our pursuit of exposing our students to the greater body that exists in the world. And we found out that we have basically an opportunity to go to Uganda to see local leaders and what they're doing about discipleship, and really just coming alongside them and to see, are there areas that we can lend a helping hand, or even frankly just to learn from them and start to create a partnership with them. And so I'm excited to say that I will be, and this is crazy to say too, is that I'll be leaving the country to go to Uganda in June. And please be praying for me, because this was something that I really needed to process with the Lord. I think there's a level of anxiety for me, not so much about sickness or going to Uganda, but I think just from the past with what this city has gone through in this past year, this thought of leaving the country is challenging for me. But I do believe that this could be something that could be a really great partnership, a strategic partnership for our region, and would love to firsthand, if this is something that's great for our students and going to be mutually beneficial, to be something that I can personally be inviting them to. So that's just the update for right now. As I said, I hope to connect with you guys over the summer. And please shoot me an email. Would love to hear from you. Would love to know how I can be praying for you, and even get that head start of finding a time to connect. So thank you guys. I love you guys greatly. What a crazy year it has been. And thank you so much for your support. And I look forward to connecting soon. All right.